Hello everybody, and welcome back to another fine episode of Kerbal Space Program .24. So the last thing we did was finish up our Duna series. We got the Duna contract complete and the Ike contract complete, which was a great success. I'm very happy. I thought we were going to cut it much closer with fuel than we did, but we actually got it home with at least 1,000 meters per second of delta V left. And we returned with a ton of science, which let's go over and spend some of it. Basically, I want to go bigger and better. I want to go to Eve this time around, and to do that I'm going to want to upgrade my probes and electronics a little bit. But first, let's go over here and grab the next and newest science, the gravioli detector. This will just allow us to have way more experimentation. I think it gives you the most science out of all the little science modules there. Let's see. Next we have these guidance units. That's what I'm looking for right there. And I will this time grab these little components because I want to use the orange jet things for some stuff. More probe stuff, I'm going to grab it. This is like ion engines and stuff. I don't really plan on using these things ever really. They're too weak. It's I mean, you get the most delta V. It's the most the engine ISP is 4200 in a vacuum, which is technically the most efficient engine in the entire game, but again, it's extremely weak. Max thrust is 2. So I'll be avoiding that. Let's see, I will grab this just for more components and things to build with. We have 650 left. This is like the really super large rocket stuff. I don't think I'm going to need this for a while, so I'll just leave that alone. What do I want to grab then in its stead? The battery banks, the wheels, or this other stuff back here. Maybe I will grab these, the rechargeable battery banks and the solar array, and we can get one more thing at this level. Let's go ahead and grab this, the wheels. We might use that someday, you never know. You never know. Alright, so let's go back, and let's go to the vehicle assembly building. Okay, so this is the monstrosity that I have constructed here. So let's go right from the very top. You'll notice that right off the bat, I have soldered on here, pre-docked up, a little probe. This is the probe that's going to actually land on the surface of Eve. Nothing else will go down there. So what I've done is loaded it up with science stuff. I put the thermometer, that thing, the seismometer, the barometer, and the gravioli detector on it, with some parachutes, solar panels, batteries, and a little bit of fuel, and some landing legs, and of course a transmitter to get the data back to Kerbin. And the sole purpose of this, again, is just to get that part of the contract, which we didn't grab yet. Hold on, let's go grab that real quick. What am I talking about? Go to Eve. We haven't even grabbed the contract yet. So here's the Eve contract. Eve, of course, is the next planet in towards the Sun, and it looks like it's about the same. Orbit Eve, get science from Eve, land on Eve, and get science from the surface. So we'll grab the Eve one. And while we're out there, we might as well explore Gilly, which is Eve's moon. So, and then again, the same stuff. So let's grab that one too. And it looks like after that we've got a Joule. Looks like we got a Joule mission somewhere in our future. So, look forward to that at some point, but let's focus back on Eve now. Sorry about that, my brain is kind of scattered today. Alright, so here we are back. I was explaining the ship. Right, so this is going to land on the surface of Eve and stay there, because basically what happens on Eve stays on Eve, literally, because you can't really escape Eve unless you're a really talented Kerbal Space Program player. So, that's like that, and the reason I'm having this pre-docked is just because I don't feel like going through the whole arduous process of launching two separate crafts and docking them. I'm just going right to the punch. Alright, after that we've got the 3-person command pod, which I have again loaded up with the little science modules just in case I want to use them separately. A couple solar panels, the transmitter, and SAS module, a little bit of fuel, and these little orange thrusters, just for some minor attitude adjustment, like say when I'm getting ready to re-enter Kerbal again, just in case I need to make any corrections. And yes, I've loaded it up with 4 of the Science Juniors, each with 3 goos each, so we're going to have a total of 12 goo and 4 Science Juniors. I think we have enough science. What do you guys think? Next is a separator. We come down to this next stage here, which is the Eve service module, similar to our Duna service module design, only not quite as many thrusters. Again, I'm feeding fuel from the center tank into these outer ones with some atomic engines just for more efficiency. And that should be good enough to get us to Eve, do whatever we need to do, and get back again. If not, oh god, oops. So next, after that, we have the standard launch stage, which I had to make these tanks a little lower just to fit. So basically, it's a 4-tank asparagus setup with the giant boosters on here just for fun, because I felt like putting them on. And each of these has an extra set of gray tanks with the main cell engines, just for a little extra fuel, a little extra to get a little higher and faster. And that is basically it. Action groups, I think I've just set up custom one to be the photovoltaic panels. But let's choose a crew. The 3 heroes, they went to Duna. They're pretty much going to retire. I mean, what more could you ask for? You took a trip to Mars, basically, and back. So what we're going to do is pick a new crew. I like Thomden here, because he's got a whole lot of courage, and he's not very stupid, so he could be like the commander of the mission. Next, just for comic relief, we'll get someone who's pretty stupid. Jorley over here is the stupidest one. So we'll grab Jorley and bring him over there, just for some comic relief on the mission. And I figured, there's Matlorf. We rescued him from orbit a long time ago, many episodes ago. So let's put him to work. I mean, he's got to pull his own weight, right? We rescued him. Let's put him to the test, basically. So this is going to be our crew, the 3 Kerbals, the new heroes, I guess we can call them. And that is basically that, folks. So let's go to the launch pad and we will launch this guy. And yes, we will recover whatever was on there. As we go out to the launch pad. Now, one thing we do, or are going to have to do, is set up our phase angle, just because we're probably not quite in the correct phase. And let's go ahead and double check that. So we'll just open the rendezvous tab, celestial body, Eve. Eve's current phase angle is -352, which if we take a closer look, is basically precisely in the wrong location, where it should be more like over here. And I did check, it's got to be -54.13, so it's basically in the absolute wrongest spot. So before we launch, we're going to get this phase angle set up. But since it's going to take a while, I'll just do a little cut till we get to the correct spot. Alright, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. We want 54.13 basically, which we are almost there. Six, 5, 4, basically 3, coming right up there. We go, 54.13. Okay, that's what we want. And looks like it's about to be morning. That's okay. We can do a launch right about here. So now that we're all set, we got the crew, Jorley, Thomden, and Matlorf. Ready, guys? Let's launch this thing in 3, 2, 1, go! Wow, there she goes. Has a lot of thrust, boosting this badass thing into orbit. I just love the way these giant boosters look. Just giant spikes of fire. And how cool does that look? We're basically about to make our own sunrise here by just getting high enough. Which is always pretty cool. Just gonna throttle back a little bit, just to make sure we're maintaining a 1G acceleration. Kinda wanna save on fuel. Man, I love these boosters. We're already like halfway to our grav turn, and they're still burning. Hell, they're gonna outlast the two main engines here. Yeah, look at that. I'll just wait till they decouple before I decouple everything else. Here we go. Let those things go. Wow. I always think they're going to smash into the spacecraft, but they don't. Alright, let's start turning this thing. I'm going to boost it up to about 2/3. And we'll start doing our gravity turn. Just going to press the E key and just swivel the craft, do a little roll. Ain't no thing. And we'll just continue to push the spacecraft into orbit. We'll just kind of ramp up the throttle a little bit. Get on about a 45-degree trajectory here. Let's zoom back in. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. Boosting this thing right into orbit. Looks like we're a little far to the right, so I just might push to the left a little bit. There we go. Just to make sure we're right on the 90. Sometimes that happens. Okay, we're looking good so far. We're already at apoapsis 44. Looks like we're about to release these tanks. There they go. And I'm just going to boost this thing up to full bore. Just to help us the rest of the way. Increase orbital speed by pushing more towards the horizon. So pick up both height and speed. All of this thanks to Sir Isaac Newton, the one who figured out calculus. Man was like, we don't have math that's good enough for this shit. I'm just gonna make up the calculus. Does that sound good? Okay, good. And that's what he did. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the maneuver node. Boost us the rest of the way into orbit. It's gonna cost 440 and we have 912, so we're gonna have a little leftover, which is great. I love when we have leftover fuel because that means we can use some of it to push us out to Eve. And that music indicates to us that we are now out of the atmosphere. All very good things. So let's just go ahead. Our burn's going to be 22 seconds. We'll just warp up to that. We'll warp up to about 11 seconds before the burn. There we go. Full bore once again. Pushing the spacecraft into its continuous parking orbit. And that about does us. Let's take a look. There we are. Very nice. 100 by 101. Perfect. Alright, so the next step would be to figure out the correct way to get to Eve. It's already set as the target. Now, Eve does have a slight inclination. It's slightly inclined off the ecliptic. As you can see, it's up higher over here, and it kind of goes down lower over there, which just makes it a little trickier to get to, but if we're careful, it won't really mess too many things up. Now, the way to get to Eve is we want to burn somewhere on the light side of the planet. And I'll explain why in a second, but let's just go ahead and get that till it breaks. And we'll zoom out, and we'll see if we can get any kind of encounter. We should And there. Relatively close encounter. And because we lined up our phase angle to basically spot on, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out the correct way to do it. Now the reason it's kind of funky is again because that inclination's a little bit off, so it's, if it were like perfectly straight on, it would be a little easier, but let's see what happens. It's right now it's about 581 kilometers apart. What if we pull this way? It looks like it's worse. Yep. So we gotta go this way. Now it is 382. I'm just gonna slow down. 315. Again, I'm just gonna pull this. Slow down a bit. There we are. So that's our even counter right there. 54 million. Now it's a little far, but let's see if we can just correct it a little bit. 54 million. If we go this way, 33 million. That's vastly better. 34 is right about 32. Okay. I think we might go with this, and of course as we get out there we can always make corrections to fix the inclination. That'll make it even better, but we'll take this one for now. And the node, I think we've gone past it. Is that the case? Yes, so we have to wait for another orbit, but that's basically going to be it. So let's go ahead and zoom around here. Do a little cut till we get there. Alright, we're just about there. So we only have about 20 seconds worth of thrust in this engine, so we'll be able to get about half the burn done with this engine. And then what I might do is I might swing around for another orbit just to get the other half done. So I'll burn it pretty close to the node there, just so it doesn't mess things up. Which YouTuber correctly pointed out in one of my Duna videos that I did burn a little too early on one of those videos, and he was right. I would be more efficient to get some of it done closer to the node and then swing around again. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to be sloppy. We'll get most of this burn done with this engine. So that engine is out. We will decouple, fire this one up. Our thrust weight ratio is a lot less now, 0.3, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter too much once you're in space. And it's great, we got most of that burn done with that big giant tank. So I'm pretty happy. We have a nice whopping 4,000 meters per second of fuel in this stage, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'll let this come down just a little further, maybe about 450 left, and then I'll reset the maneuver node and we'll go around for another pass just to be efficient. In fact, let's do that now. So I'll cut the engines and we'll just swing around for another lap, but I might do that off camera just so I can get it all set up. Okay, so we're swinging around again. I've just reset the maneuver node to basically exactly where it was. We have a 3-minute burn left, so we'll burn at around 1 minute and 30, and that should get us there. Coming up on it very soon. Alright, let's get this thing started. Looks like we're burning straight into the planet, but technically this is the proper way to do it. You kind of split it in half like we always do. And we'll just go to about 3 times warp, maybe 4. So basically what's happening here is when we went to, this is actually a perfect comparison, when we went to Duna we burned to the right that's in the prograde fashion of Kerbin's orbit around the Sun, basically boosting momentum higher to get up to Duna. But here, when we're going to Eve, we're boosting to the left, which is basically a retrograde burn in reference to Kerbin. So basically that's slowing down our orbital velocity, which is causing us to collapse inwards towards Eve. As you can see right here, the orbit is coming in towards the Sun because we're losing, technically we're losing orbital momentum around the Sun, which is quite crazy when you think about it. Give me 1 second. Here we are. We'll just get that maneuver node, make sure we're all set. So 32. See how far down we can get it. 31. 30. Oh, okay, that's about it. Alright, so as you can see here, we're going to the left, and which is totally mind-boggling, because you'd think you're making a burn, you're accelerating, you're gaining speed, but you're gaining speed, if you look at the bigger picture, you're boosting in the wrong direction. You're boosting in a negative type of way. We're losing orbital velocity around the Sun, which the first time when I learned that, it completely blew my mind, and I think that's why I made this YouTube channel and started making Kerbal Space Program videos, is because it blew my mind and I just had to tell everyone. You know how they say when you're in love you have to tell the world? Well, I fell in love with Kerbal Space Program and orbital mechanics and rocket science, and I have to tell the world, and that's what this channel is basically all about. That's why I started it. It's like, hey everyone, look how cool this is. Isn't this awesome? So I hope that's the effect. I hope you guys really enjoy watching these videos as much as I enjoy playing the game here, just because it is just so damn cool the way all this works. But anyway, I'll stop mumbling about now. So that's basically it. We've got our Eve encounter, and we are on the way. There's no stopping us now, and we barely used any fuel. So I feel pretty good about this mission. I think we're gonna make it. But that's about all I'll do for now. We're about out of time, but next time look forward to making some correction burns just to get that Eve periapsis down as close as possible, and we might even see a glimpse of what Eve looks like with this Astronomer's Visual Pack, so that should be exciting. Alright, so until then, we'll see you later, and thanks for watching.